1001 manifestation videos later, and they're still telling you you're just not feeling grateful enough to bring that which you wish into your desired reality into being. I'm in fact inviting you to consider that you need to be doing precisely the opposite. In this visual experience, I will be unveiling a curious yet rather strange method that myself and others have used with great effect to bring that which they desire into their reality. Plus a true story of an individual who began to accrue more clients, more wealth, and fundamentally more life into their being through this simple but odd method of introducing complaining into her SATS practice, which hopefully the SATS practice you should already be doing. We will jump straight into a re-remembering and also redefining a SATS practice as Neville Goddard had taught us to do so, which will bring forth these fruits into our lives. Let me do stress though that these practices, these mental models, are essential for us to be doing prior to introducing this odd mechanism of complaining into SATS for us to begin to see results. So the steps 1 to 7, but people get rather Disney, in my personal opinion, on step number 5, which ruins everything. And this is really the key why the majority fail. So Neville Goddard's concept of the state akin to sleep, or SATS, is a fundamental aspect of his teachings on the manifestation and the power of imagination. This state refers to a deeply relaxed and drowsy condition that is close to the state akin to sleep, or the state of sleep, but not quite going unconscious. It is a state where the mind is highly receptive and suggestible, very similar to that, or not too dissimilar to that of hypnosis, making it an ideal time for impressing the subconscious mind with desired thoughts and images. So mental model number 1, relaxation and receptivity. Relaxation. The state akin to sleep is achieved by relaxing the body and of course relaxing the mind. This can be done by lying down or sitting comfortably in a quiet space, allowing all tensions to melt away. Body scanning can be very, very helpful here, kind of scanning down your body, feeling the legs, feeling the arms, feeling the face and the musculature in the face, and recognizing where tension is and letting it be and letting it go equally. Receptivity. In this relaxed state, the conscious mind's critical faculties are subdued, making it easier to access and influence the subconscious mind. So it's always really good before you get into this kind of state, or you begin to go into SATS, that you have an idea, have a concept, have an intention, which we'll talk about in just a moment, as to what you would like to see bring into your life. Mental model number 2, imaginal acts. Vivid imagination. In this state, you are encouraged to vividly imagine your desired outcomes as if, and this is the important part, as if it has already happened. This involves seeing, hearing, touching, and feeling the reality of the wish fulfilled. So what you want to do is accrue all of your senses to your disposal in this regard. Make it very sensually and kinesthetically appealing to you. There should be no difference in your imagination between what that is and how you're experiencing it in the 3D, almost like it's a memory. Emotional involvement. It's crucial to feel the emotions associated with the fulfillment of your desire. The more emotionally involved you are in your imaginal acts, the more effective they are at impressing the subconscious mind. You have to have a relationship with this kind of thing. It's got to be very close to the heart in that way, because otherwise you're not going to have the energy to bring that physical thing into being. It has to hit here in the heart. Timing and practice. Before sleep, one of the best times to enter the state akin to sleep is just before falling asleep at night. This is because the mind naturally transitions into a relaxed state at this time. And we would define this as theta brainwave, that hypnotic, trance-like state where the mind will accept any ideas with no discrimination whatsoever. Regular practice. Consistent practice is important. Regularly entering this state and performing imaginal acts can reinforce the desired outcomes in the subconscious mind. And then you'll find subsequently these things get easier and easier and easier as you enter into what I like to categorize or call it your inner magician. And the palantir is your mind. Intent and belief. Clear intent. You should have clear and specific intent about what you wish to manifest. The more precise and focused your desire, the better. I believe this is the most important aspect in state akin to sleep. You have to have intention that what you are going to do is going to work. If you betray yourself, you betray your outcomes. Believing in the reality of your imaginal acts is crucial. You must have faith that what you imagine in this state will manifest into your waking reality. As I said. Now here we have steps 1 to 7. And remember what I said previously, step number 5. This is where people get Disney. This is where things go all wrong. So let's begin with number 1. Find a quiet place. And there has to be consistency in this particular place because then you can more consistently get into state akin to sleep. So ensure you are in a comfortable and quiet environment where you will not be disturbed. That is essential. Step number 2, relax your body. Lie down. I lie down preferably, or you can sit comfortably and progressively relax each part of your body via body scanning. Step 3, calm your mind. Clear your mind of any intrusive thoughts. Deep breathing or gentle meditation can be very, very helpful. I typically meditate prior to this step, which clears my mind beforehand, makes the mind the slate of the mind clean. Number 4, enter the state akin to sleep. Allow yourself to drift into a drowsy, semi-lucid sleep state where you are deeply relaxed, but this is important that your mind is still aware and that you are still in control and conscious. Step number 5, this is where it all goes wrong. Visualize your desire. In this state, vividly imagine the scene of your desire fulfilled. Engage all your senses and feel the emotion of having already achieved your goal. Can you see it yet? Do you see the lunacy in this? Maybe not. We'll come to it. Number 6, feel the reality. Convince yourself that what you are imagining is real. Dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And number 7, return to wakefulness. Gently bring yourself back to the full wakefulness, carrying the feeling of the wish fulfilled by you. Now you can do this, or my actual preference and what I found works for me is allowing yourself to then drift off into sleep. That's where the conscious or the masculine marries the subconscious or the feminine. And we call this the womb of creation, or impregnating the mind and reality. So here's the main problem with step number 5, and you've got to listen very, very closely to this, is that people feel unnaturally about how they would feel if everything they wanted would come true. Like I said before, they think Disney. They don't think reality. People believe that their toes will curl, that flowers will bloom, that ribbons will shoot out the end of their penis when they truly live the kind of life that they want. But in fact, the reality is just that. It's reality. It's the normal, day-to-day, hour-to-hour living, bumps and bruises, trials and tribulations that come with life. In that way, you make things further from the truth of what you want to live. Like I said before, you make it cinematic. You make it a fairy tale. And fairy tales, sorry to break your precious heart, are not true. Because here's the thing, you never ever get rid of your problems. You just trade them in for new ones. Let me explain, because this is the weird tweak that really just changes everything and subsequently allows you to shift a lot faster. And actually, I think the best way is to convey it in form of this real story. So after this person made these changes, everything else started to change. So this individual starts by saying that equally, maybe similar to you, similar to me definitely, is they've always felt frustration and struggles with state akin to sleep and feels rather robotic in her affirmations because, let's face it, they can be pretty boring. Affirming to yourself, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am worthy, all of these other bits and pieces. Living in the end felt dull, and I actually couldn't really believe that this imagination that she was experiencing was happening. And the devil is in the details here, my friends. Repeating the same scene over and over again in my head just made me more anxious than anything else. And I suppose we should add some credit here to the past calligrapher for her amazing tips, which made things click for her and click for yourselves and clicking for me. So a few days ago, I stumbled upon past calligrapher's post. She mentioned that she imagined herself with her wish already fulfilled, and then added some drama by complaining about things in her new state to keep it entertaining. Basically, she made her future thoughts as entertaining as possible. And this was the game changer. I'm about to graduate from university and really wanted to secure a position at the law firm where I already work. So I started imagining myself with my diploma working as an associate. And in my head, I was whining about having too many clients, all with whom wanted to work with me. Really annoying and frustrating, right? I even thought, now that I have this position, I need to attend a ton of client meetings. So I definitely need a new bag and some fresh outfits. It felt so natural because I was already living my dream job in my mind and focusing on all the problems that came with it. And let's be honest, I love complaining. I know that that's bad. After just an hour of this mental complaining session, my boss approached me and said that he'd spoken to our CMP, big boss, about me, and they both agreed they'd love to have me as an associate, and even considered opening a department in my field of interest because they see how talented I am. And I was absolutely shocked. The next few days were wild. Clients from my side hustle kept calling, wanting to work with me, even those I hadn't heard from since September and thought had completely ghosted me. So yeah, it was an incredible experience and a lot of fun. Now I just want to focus on getting my diploma, but I'm not quite sure how to complain about that yet. Any suggestions? So I said to you at the beginning of this video is I believe you should be doing completely the opposite what many of these manifestation gurus tell you to do in regards to bringing things into your fruition. And that is start complaining. Don't be grateful. Start complaining more. Start finding the problems in your life, because guess what? Guess what our mind is designed to do? It's designed to complain. It's designed to. And that is predicated on our past history as an animal living out there in the wilderness to survive. Our brain is a problem-creating machine, because otherwise, we would not be here. We would not be living. So our thoughts typically occupy, I know it's not nice to say, it doesn't bring me any pleasure to say this, but our thoughts typically occupy most things that could go wrong in our life. Because otherwise, they threaten our existence. So look, you've done the whole grateful for having this some amount of money in your bank account, for having this kind of car. But now you need to think, this stuff is already yours. What are the problems that you are having? Maybe you're worried about your car being stolen. Maybe you're worried about somebody scratching your car as you have it on the street parking, because that's what occupies your mind 99% of the time when you have the things that you want. Maybe you've got to worry about how much more expensive your insurance is going to be, or how jealous your friends are going to be. I don't know. If it's a sum of money that you are hoping to get, maybe an increase in salary, you're going to be asking yourself, oh, now I need to get an accountant. Now I need to pay somebody else to look after my money. I mean, indulge me in this idea for a moment. Imagine the life that you're living now, right? I would imagine that there is a fairly large percentage of people out there who would look at your life and go, I wish I had his life. I wish I was living his life. But what are you thinking about your life right now? Well, thinking about your problems. You're complaining, even about the things that are good in your life. The problem is, as much as we'd like to believe that we are very gracious creatures, and that we're writing in our journal every night about how lucky we are to live the life that we're being, that isn't an accurate reality of the behavior and habits you're having when you're living this life. In fact, you're far more sensitive to the things that could potentially go wrong. And in the same way, when you imagine the reality you want to live, do not censor it. Make it vivid. And the biggest part of the vivid imagination is complaining about the aspects of having what you have, which goes completely contrary to the ideas or to the typical idea that people would have you do in relation to bring these things into your fruition. Maybe you want more friends in your life and you're complaining that you keep getting invited to things and you don't want to go, or that you don't have too much free time for yourself. That's a good, again, as I mentioned the point before, is you don't dispel your problems. You actually trade them in for new ones. You're always going to have problems. Like, think how wild it actually is. I mean, just indulge me, just for a moment in this concept, to imagine a reality where you have no problems, where the sun is shining and there's rainbows coming out of your arsehole. It doesn't exist. You have no reference points for a reality like that. And that's why you don't believe it. That's why you're anxious. That's why you lack conviction. Because your perfect utopia has problems and doesn't really exist. Stop imagining your perfect reality as a Disney movie. It's not true. It's not even nearly true. Start imagining it in its true reality, with all the grayness, with all the dullness, with all the problems. And I promise you things will come into fruition very, very quickly. And if you subscribe to that idea, you can subscribe to me, gentlemen. Are these theories? I don't know. Maybe they're facts. Speak soon.